do need to figure out how to get more banter into it.
I know.
It's quite serious.
They're really fucking boring. Having to listen to you for half an hour is the
Thanks very much.
biggest regret I've ever
Honestly,
had.
God, what is this? Is that a personal attack?
This is the definition of banter, Danny. I'm actually your biggest fan, but I'm going to pretend like I hate your guts for the benefit of the show.
Fanboy.
You reached out to me first, Danny, actually.
We are going to be talking about how to get more leads.
That would be handy. Tell me more.
It would be handy. You're right.
Tell me more, please.
So just make a Google business profile and that's it. Done. That's secret sauce.
Well, you've been listening to that Wedding Videography podcast. I've been Jason, this has been Danny. Enough said.
So how do you get more leads, Jason? You tell me.
Right. So my
Boring. That's plenty.
Should we introduce our audience?
I mean, we can do. So we do have some spectators on the podcast today. We can't turn the camera around because it's too far away, but they're in this direction here.
Give us a hell yeah. I'm going to say one more time. Let me face the microphone towards you. Hell yeah. Damn right.
Yeah. That's
So yeah.
yeah.
I think that's enough of them.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about I think one of the main things that everybody or a lot of people struggle with is how to get more leads. Because I think we both have very different kind of like lead volumes that come in, and there's obviously reasons for that. So let's start off with you, and I think like your approach. So let's just say, I guess, like how maybe like on average how many leads that you get, and then maybe like your maybe conversion on those leads at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, because just quickly on the fact that you said like number of leads, that doesn't necessarily mean that the volume of leads, but it's the kind of the quality of leads as well. I mean, are you getting enough leads that are quality or just a nice volume? So my leads they're varying over the years, but now that I've kind of become more niche and I've figured out what my kind of target client is, my lead volume kind of ranges between 10 and 30 seems quite varied. It's definitely more between 10 and 20 a month right now. Yeah. However, I have had months where there's been 30 to 40 leads based on the actions that I'm taking that month. Yeah. But on an average month when I'm not totally active on social media or I'm not doing anything else to kind of push that, I would say between 10 and 20 leads a month. But although that's maybe not like a massive amount of leads, the 10 to 20 leads I get a month, they know what my brand is all about. They know what they're signing up for, essentially. It's very clear on my Instagram and the films that I produce, what they're going to get. So although there's maybe not as high a number as some people in the industry, my conversions on those leads are much higher. I'm definitely converting somewhere between 20 and 30% of all leads that come through. Every 1 in 5 tends to convert to a booking, which I think is pretty high.
It's a good.
I would say that. So, although I'm not like getting leads every single day, the ones that do come in, they do want to have a chat more about how I go about things, and that's all been designed based on the communication that I'm putting out to the industry.
Because the way that Afterglow is set up, you are essentially you're like repelling a whole bunch of people, but that's intentional.
Oh, absolutely intentional. There's this really funny story from a wedding show that I was at where this potential bride walked past my stall and looked like she was going to be physically sick. When on the screen, there's one film I've produced that's had a Mortal Kombat fight scene where these kids and these women are fighting with batons, and I put the Mortal Kombat health bars and like the finish him at the end of it.
That'll do it.
And the woman was just like, oh, no, thank you. And I was like, romance is just around the corner. Just go there. And I thought that was perfect because that's exactly what I wanted. I know that she would watch my film. Yeah. If she wanted a wedding film from me, she wouldn't get what she wants from me, which means that I can work for people that want the product that I'm willing to give. And I think that repelling people is actually a strength because it means that the leads that come in, I'm not spending time on leads that aren't going to convert. People want my product. So they inquire and there's a better chance of conversion. So that's been by design.
Cool. Good.
What about you? Tell me more.
So I'm a little bit different because I guess because my product offering is probably more it's like what maybe the majority of the market are looking for instead of being a niche. So and I get on average over 500 leads a year. So and a lot of that has really just been down to nailing some of the other stuff that we've talked about in other podcasts, which is like the branding, the copy, and the kind of the work and making sure that that's all to a really, really high standard. So yeah, but because I have such a vast amount of leads that come in, my conversion rate isn't to what yours is. Probably, I don't know off the top of my head maybe what my actual conversion rate is, but yeah, it's probably it's sub 10%. I don't know, maybe around kind of like 8.5%, 9% maybe, in terms of like conversion. So yeah, but yeah, it's a good volume of leads that come through, but with that there is a bit more of a time investment because I am maybe like sending out replies to people that maybe I'm not within their budget, which is often the case. Then comes with that ghosting and stuff like that. But I don't really spend too much time on, because a lot of people have maybe said that you should. Sorry, getting a call from a random number.
I was thinking of that.
Rizzo Films, Danny speaking.
It's got a lead.
A few moments later.
He generally gets a lead on the podcast where we're talking about how to get more leads.
I mean, that was perfect timing.
Right?
I mean, how class is that?
Did you just get one of the audience to call you?
Was that you? Sorry, I'm just going to reply to this lead because that is one thing that you should do. You should always make sure that you try and reply to your leads as soon as possible.
I'm glad you finished that sentence because not replying to your leads is
so just
for business.
I think speed of response as well is definitely a factor to play.
So much so that you do it even during a podcast doesn't matter.
Where was I?
Less than 10%.
Yes, sorry. So yeah, less than, it's probably less than 10%. It's probably around about the kind of maybe, I don't know, between 8 and 9% in terms of like a conversion rate, which to be honest is still an all right conversion rate. It's just because like I don't have my price on my website and people obviously will get in touch that like I said, or it's not within the budget. But yeah, but you know, I've a lot of that has been a lot of kind of like work to get to that point as well, though, you know, because it wasn't always like that.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think when people are looking for a wedding videographer, what do you think is inspiring them to inquire with someone? Like, how does someone get a lead?
So I think first and foremost, because I get the majority of my leads through Instagram. So I think if you look at my Studio Ninja and you get the little pie chart, but it's like 60% is through Instagram. And if I was to kind of like look at my actual like approach on Instagram, it's being present, you know, so that is consistently posting, a nicely looking kind of shot window and grid. Stories are a big part in that as well. Like I'm always on stories every single day. So if you're gonna, if you want to utilize Instagram to the fullest kind of like capability, I would say make sure that you're present on there, interact with other suppliers, stay front of mind with other suppliers, and utilize it, because I know that a lot of people maybe like before they would use Facebook, and that was the main. This is before I was even in wedding filmmaking, to be honest, but that was the main kind of like lead source. But now the kind of demographic has changed, and the demographic, I would say, the majority of that demographic is now on Instagram. That are getting married, so yeah, that's what I would say initially is make sure you get an Instagram account. follow, interact with other suppliers, follow the suppliers, interact with other people's stories, just to kind of make sure that the algorithm kicks in and you start appearing on their feeds, and just get the flywheel going so that you can utilize it. And the best part about Instagram is it's free.
Mm-hmm.
It's free.
I think when people become engaged, it's then their turn to like go and find out who's in the industry, because no one's ever really planned a wedding before. So they need to be in a room full of suppliers, and everyone's seen like forums, like Facebook forums, where could you give me this supplier, get this supplier, this supplier. But if you're in the room shouting loud about what you do, you're a wedding videographer, then the chances of someone who's looking for a wedding videographer seeing you are higher. Like if you're not posting, if you're not being active on social media, you're being buried underneath everyone else that is speaking about it. So it just makes sense to be active on there. I think I did this experiment in January where I posted every single day for a month, and it was a lot of work. A lot of work. I tried to batch it for the first 2 weeks, and then every single day after that, I was doing it every single morning, trying to find something inspirational. Ideas that I utilized from that were trending topics. Like we had that Nanoland puppet. I don't know if you've seen
I remember that.
Who's that wonderful girl? That one.
Rob from Blackfair Media.
Actually collaborated with the official account. Yeah. So that was a trending topic. I created something along the lines of, when people don't RSVP to your wedding, and it's the little puppet crying and going, I'm mad. That did really well. I posted a really cool moment from a wedding where they did an ABBA tribute. That did really well. Yeah. And just gave some advice. Like,
is that when you done with the key thing in that as well?
I did that the month as well.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Like basically there was something at a wedding that was really cool. Like
I quite like that idea actually.
Yeah. I think if you see something unique at a wedding, like I saw this one the other day, where instead of like a guest book, it was just playing cards. There was 52 playing cards, and they could write on each of the cards.
Oh, that's cool.
So they'd get like a deck of cards with messages on it and stuff. Not that they can play with it, but maybe you can pin it up. I was going to put that on TikTok because it's maybe an idea that someone's thinking, or they can have at their wedding. These are just ideas that you can have that are separate from highlights that you can use to fill your content, because we always see things at weddings that are really cool ideas. So I think it's good to inspire anyone else. So putting that content out there means that you're front of face. People who are looking for a wedding videographer are potentially going to see you over someone else. So being active on social media is absolutely essential. And because I posted every single day that month, I was getting inundated with a lot of views. It was no surprise to me that I had well over 40 inquiries in January compared to my average of 10 and 15 in February, March.
Which is a massive uptick.
Massive uptick. So why wouldn't I do it all the time? It's time consuming.
Very.
It's absolutely time consuming. My plan is to sit down for a couple of weeks and just batch all speeches, all ceremonies, all things that I want to do, so that I've got that. I think everyone's idea is to do that, but it's really essential that I'll sit down for 2 weeks and just get that done. So I'm planning to do that next month, and that'll be my summer schedule. So that's fun.
Good luck with that.
You can all hold me to it. Just all hold me to that, and I will get it done. You will see it.
Yeah, right? And it will be worth it. It will be worth it. But yeah, social media is that is like the big one again, because it's free. Your next stop is making sure that your SEO is sorted. So I know that your SEO is really, really good for Glasgow. You're number one and have been for quite some time. You and I used to battle it out for number one spot. We would swap and change for quite a lot, but
natural order was restored.
Yeah, but I changed my SEO to not be for Glasgow.
See you, Rizzo Films. Bye bye. Page 2.
The majority of my weddings, I don't actually do that many in Glasgow. It's normally away. So so I changed that up. But making sure that your SEO is good so that you're actually found on Google when somebody searches them when they want a wedding videographer, because that's handy.
Yeah, I had someone also at a wedding show. It was when I first started and I wasn't really up on the SEO, and they spoke to me, and when they Googled me, they were like, he's on like page 6. I bet it's like a
scam alert.
Yeah. Genuinely, they thought it might be scammy because it was cheap and I was low down.
The depths of 6 pages of Google.
I mean,
wedding videographer. You must be crap.
Yeah, and I was like back then. But I think being kind of relevant to Google ensures that you are offering the service that you're saying you do. So, Glasgow, people might think when they're searching for wedding videographers in Glasgow, you know, if you're on the first page, that's a company you want to go for.
Yeah.
It's kind of that social proof. You don't need to be there, but it brings in
just
leads
helps.
because people who are shopping around want to see your face.
Yeah.
And I just think,
and realistically, most people are probably not going to go to the 6th page in Google. You know, they may, but I would just say the majority are maybe like going maybe like 2. I would say 3 pages max.
yeah. So
I think that's what I would do.
So try and think outside the box when it comes to keywords for what you want to be searching for. But and also apparently blogging helps. Do you blog?
I have done a few blogs. My problem is just the time, and I've looked at it because I know we're probably going to go on a tangent here about blogs, but I have tried it and not kept up with it because personally I didn't see the massive value in it, just because with how I have more leads coming from different other sources that I didn't feel it was necessary. But I know loads of people that do it, and it's a great source for leads. Again, it's just more the time investment. Like that's not really where my strengths lie in terms of like writing blogs, and I wouldn't want to write a crap one. And kind of don't want to use ChatGPT because if I feel like it's probably going to get a little bit samey, and obviously with the whole thing that we talked about SEO, that Google can tell when it's been ChatGPT'd, if that's a word, and you're negatively impacted. So I was like, yeah, I'll just not do that, and I'll maybe pick up one now and then. But I know people that do it, and it's a great source for them. Yeah,
it definitely seems like photographers love using blogs as a platform to sort of improve their SEO. I think for videographers, they should really be focusing on YouTube. It's like a it's ran by Google. It's a massive search engine. We've got the ability to share a video about a specific venue. Like as soon as someone's booked a venue, they can Google that venue. And if you are on it with SEO, which let's be honest, there's not a lot of competition for wedding venues on YouTube. Not many people are posting it.
Yeah.
If you get apps like TubeBuddy, which can be like 15 quid a month, you can get advice on what to word it. It's really simple. So I do that. And usually when I've SEO'd it properly, I'm in the top 3 results for that video. So whether or not most of the views are by other videographers looking for inspiration or just to see what a venue looks like, or it's actually by a couple who are looking at their wedding video, what it might look like. It's the same if you go to a wedding show at a venue. If you've got a YouTube video at a venue and people can see what your work is like at their venue, that's going to really convert quite well.
Yeah, the YouTube thing has been... So I have been reasonably consistently posting. So if I post it on Instagram, again, just because of I think I said before, because of the time sink that obviously posting takes, and once you've done all the SEO, it takes so long. So normally if I post it on Instagram, I'll post it on YouTube. And I think I've had probably about 5 between kind of like last year and this year so far from YouTube, which is, it's obviously not massive numbers, but it's still good for just posting up a video and getting 5 bookings on the back of it. So yeah, I would 100% say utilize YouTube. Let's be real, delivering your wedding films by USB, that's outdated.
We use VidFlow, the sleekest platform for delivering your wedding films. It makes your couples feel like they've got their own private Netflix.
Plus, with their white labeling service, you can customize everything from the branding to your own custom domain to make it super personal.
Want to wow your clients? Use the code TWVP10 for 10% off any of the pro plans, including the white label service.
Head on over to vidflow.co
and level up your wedding film delivery experience. Let's talk about backlog. Editing piles up fast and it's overwhelming.
That's why we use brideandgroom.video, a wedding film editing service that creates stunning wedding films faster without compromising on quality.
They match your unique style, so you still feel like you've made them. And the process is super simple.
Use the code TWVP75 to get £75 off your first order and try out their service.
Clear your backlog and grow your business. Visit brideandgroom.video today.
Hasta la vista, backlog. You mentioned obviously trade shows.
Trade shows.
Yeah.
So when I first began, I did loads of trade shows. I think there's definitely like this concept, this idea that if you're higher ticket, it's not going to work for you. But I know some videographers who are still plus 2,000 who are booking over 10 at the big shows. You're definitely going to have more success at the smaller shows when people have booked that venue and they go and see you. Like you've done Kim Mount House, the wedding show there.
Yeah.
Did you have good conversions there?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I think the first time I went there, got a bunch of leads, didn't convert massively. But yeah, that time there, it was okay. It was good. But again, it's venue specific, and I'm there obviously quite a lot.
Yeah.
So,
because I did the Aberdeen one back in January, which was the first time I'd done a show up north in a kind of a market that, it doesn't necessarily... I didn't think there'd be a lot of competition up there. The videographers that were there had been there for a while, so I was kind of showing them something new, although I have done a bunch.
The new kid on the block.
New kid. They let me know it. They were like, get off my turf. And I'm like, whatever.
Setting your stand on fire.
I know. And because it was in January, it was kind of just after Christmas, people had just got engaged. They hadn't necessarily booked their venue. So initially it looked like, okay, maybe this wasn't really worth it. But that show has since then
paid dividends.
Oh yeah, it's almost 20 grand of business.
Yeah.
Since then, it's been ridiculous. What that was working.
Yeah.
Obviously, that proved that even if you are charging 2,000 or more, you can actually convert at these shows if you've got the messaging right.
Yeah.
If you do the correct follow-ups, like I had QR codes, I had advice to hand out, like questions you could ask videographers. I had a bunch of handouts, had a load of fun with afterglow sticks that I had, which were really fun. And
standard afterglow.
Standard stuff, which is really, really fun. So I had a really fun weekend, and I'd love to do more shows, but
again, it's the time sink though, because it's an effort, just getting all the materials and all that for it. So I think it's obviously it can be a little bit discouraging when you maybe go and you don't get much on the back of it, and you went to all that effort. But I think the difference with you there is that you've went for it and you have went for it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You've done the glow sticks. You basically made it so that you're completely unforgettable, and that's the kind of energy that you want to go into these things with it. Because if you go in and you do a bit of a half-arsed job, you're going to get half-arsed results.
It's the thing. I've actually been to wedding shows as an engaged couple as well, and what my experience was is that there were too many names to remember, and I couldn't remember. Oh, who was that florist we spoke to?
And you're always going to remember the guy.
Always going to remember the guy
in the floral shirt dancing
right?
about.
He was the guy that gave you these afterglow sticks.
sticks.
It's in the name. They had leaflets, they had cards, they had everything to remember who it was they spoke to. The big sun on my branding was on the board, just like
of course.
It would match all the branding. There was all the clues to match there. But yeah, I can remember who I spoke to when I was a prospective client.
Yeah.
And I took that away when I was doing the Aberdeen show, thinking, right, I need them to remember who I am.
Well,
but some would argue that, when you're spending costs of like maybe £1,000 to £2,000 on a wedding show, why is that money not better spent on something like meta ads?
Yeah, I mean the show. I don't actually do meta ads personally. The only ads that I do are Google ads.
Oh, and how do they work? Are they good for you?
Yeah. Again, it can be a little bit hard to quantify sometimes, but Google, I think going by the pie chart, so like Instagram is the biggest. It's like 60%. Then it's like
word of mouth.
It's like the other big part of the pie is word of mouth, to be honest. I mean, Google ads, they can work. I just keep them in the background, to be honest. I don't mind kind of paying for them. I don't put on too much and it kind of just ticks over. I've not really quantified it, but yeah, it's probably like 10% maybe of my bookings kind of come from Google. So I mean, it's still like, it's still a maybe like 50 leads a year or something like that come from Google. So it's not huge, but I mean, it's a decent amount. The main one for me has been referrals, and I think that that's something that like a lot of people should be leveraging, especially people that have been in the industry for like years and years, will have fostered up relationships, with maybe like photographers, because I think generally at the moment, I think things are starting to change a little bit with the order in which things are being booked, but it generally goes, venue, photographer, and at the moment, videographer. There are some cases that, I've got a few this year actually where there's no photographer at all. So I think things are starting to, there's definitely a generation that are coming in that are valuing video a lot more. But with that being said, because photographers are generally the second thing to book, you really want to be top of their list, I guess, when it comes to referral.
Yeah. I heard this stat that it's 80 to 90% of referrals will convert, and like 20% of inquiries from social media or anywhere else won't convert.
Yeah.
Or will
It's
20%,
definitely
yeah.
it's a high converting lead
Yeah.
source
Yeah,
for me,
so-
because you've got like the social proof,
Yeah.
from the client. 'Cause obviously they don't know you, but if they're getting a vouch from a photographer that they've already booked, then you're kind of sorted. So there's loads of stuff that you can do there. Just ask them. Can I be on your recommended list? I will put you on mine.
Yeah.
Even
I mean, usually you don't. Obviously, if you haven't worked with them,
Yeah.
like don't just be reaching out to every single one. Say, by the way,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Get me on your website right now.
Yeah. Don't
Like,
just randomly DM someone and just go, can I get on your recommended list? Because that is going to be a big fat no.
Please. Please don't.
Okay, you said please. But yeah, you want to utilize those relationships.
Yeah, I think finding people like photographers that kind of match your style, or you just enjoyed working with the
That's a
day,
given.
because you are going to deliver a better product if you're working with people that you get on with and you
Totally.
can match their vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, just work on getting those relationships worked up, and the referrals will come in, because like you, my highest form of inquiry is from word of mouth referrals.
Yeah.
Venues and photographers, essentially.
Yeah, I think the one thing that can kind of like add to this as well, because I still get referrals from like photographers that I've not even worked with before that have said, I really want to work with you. And I think you'll probably be the same, no?
No. They're like staying as far away from me as possible.
Well, this is awkward. So
What's so good about working with you, Danny? Tell us. Like,
I literally have no idea. But I can feel what eyeballs on me.
There is one photographer that does keep recommending me and says one day we will. Oh, there's two. This happens to me actually all the time. All the time. There's two photographers.
I feel
that
like
know
you're
of.
just lying now just to save face. But I think a lot of that comes down to obviously like delivering a good product, but then getting your face on there as well, because that's obviously something and that's why I thought that you would probably have that as well, because you get your face on there and it looks fun to work with you. Like I want to come to an afterglow wedding because I think it would be fun. Do you know what I mean? So
You'd think so. But I think I kind of thought when I put this brand out there that people go, that looks fun. That looks really fun. We want that. And then people will go, do we really want to risk the fun?
too much fun.
For
Too much fun.
the beauty, the traditional stuff. Like, do we want to risk that?
Yeah.
So I think people probably do like consider it. That's why I get a lot of follows from people, because they're just curious to see it.
Yeah.
But when the brass tacks comes in, they go, actually,
Too much fun.
Let's dial
down the fun a little bit. I wouldn't bring it back down.
I don't want that much fun.
No. I just want a little bit of fun.
Just a little bit of fun.
Little bit of fun.
Sprinkle out there.
So basically what I deliver is a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Too much fun, a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I'm the extreme.
The people's choice of fun.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. You're fun for everyone.
But
I'm only fun for the nerds.
the leads that then kind of like come through, for instance, from photographers that want to work, but I think that a lot of that is just down to coming across as really friendly and approachable, having my face on Instagram quite a lot as well, just so that people get to see me. I know a little bit about me. I think helps. So that's another takeaway. But again, you need to be comfortable with getting your face on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which does take a little while. And I'm not like, sometimes I'm a little bit awkward, and like nobody has it figured out either, because I'm pretty sure you, I know I do, have like about 4, 5, 6 takes of stuff. Sometimes, I mean, we've had to sometimes like with the podcast and do stuff, because it's just so don't be put off by that. But that's one of the best things that you can do, is just get your face out there, because people buy from people, so and I think the thing to remember here is that you are delivering a very, very personal service, because you're being invited to somebody's wedding. So they need to know that you are going to be fun, not too much fun, just a little bit fun, just a little bit, a sprinkle of fun. If you're competent, obviously your work is on there, but they also kind of want to, am I going to gel with this person? Because you and the photographer are the two suppliers that are with that couple for the whole day. So if they. And obviously you can do the catch-up call with them and stuff like that, the initial booking call, but a call can sometimes be hard to kind of gauge how you are. And people will follow you for a while before inquiring. They want to get to know you, so get your personality on there, is what I would say helps.
Do you want to tell anyone about your hitched journey?
Yeah, so there's obviously the directories that you can use. I've tried a few with not a lot of success. There are some on there that I would avoid. One that has actually worked out reasonably well for me was Hitched. So, and it definitely worked better when I was at like a lower price point, maybe of around between when I was around the kind of £1,500 to £1,900 mark. I had a lot of success there. I think maybe in 1 year I got something like, I don't know, it was like 20,000+ pounds worth of business from it, which was great.
And for what kind of spend was that, like the conversion?
So I think at the time I was covering 2 areas. I was covering Glasgow and Edinburgh, and I think it was probably somewhere in the region of about 60 quid a month. So 60, 70 quid a month. So let's call it circa £700-800 a year to get 20 plus back. I think it was like 23 grand or something.
That's the thing. I think a lot of these websites, and myself included, I sometimes look at it as like, they're just trying to, poach on the little guy essentially, and just kind of, are they actually going to help you out? But yours was the first kind of story where I thought, they actually are beneficial. I'm still not on it, but
and I haven't had as much success since my pricing has been higher.
But you're still in profit from the business that you've got from it.
I am, and I'm also only in one area now, so I'm only covering the one area.
Yeah.
But I have just recently had a booking that was it was at my new pricing.
Yeah. So it's worthwhile actually checking out the directories as well. I mean, why not? It's not going to hurt if you don't have to invest in it, but I think it's probably worth spending a bit of money on these if
play about with it. There are some that are definitely not worth it. I know that there's also one that has been at the height of a bit of controversy online that you definitely want to avoid. Don't want to name any names, but yeah, do your research on the directories first. And I also think if it's if it seems too good to be true, it normally is.
Yeah.
So
let's round up. Round up. Do you want to do it this time? Or am I doing it?
Oh, when I do it, man, it goes Pete Tong.
Right, we're not scripting it. We're just winging it.
Yeah. Right. Catch you there. Cool. So that has been how to get more leads. We hope you found the content enjoyable and you've been able to take something away from it. But as ever, just remember, not too much fun, just a little bit of fun.
Just a sprinkle bit.
I've been Danny.
I've been Jase.
Take it easy.
See you there. Did I just do a peace sign? Jeez, oh.